episode of The Sweet Spot. I'm Rocco McSweets, being joined by the Themperor, Kay Davver. Got a whole lot of them sweet nicknames.
Is that going to start catching on?
Yeah. I like that one. I dug it.
I like it.
Car ride to BPW. Joey brought it up. I was like, no, that's cool.
Yeah. Oh, I think Skylar said it first.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, shout out to Skylar Ashwood. You know, the originator of the name. But, a whole lot of fun little angles that we can take that. What's the one that he always says for your entrance?
So my original tagline, and this is when I was doing burlesque too, was the Thunder from 6 Feet Under.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah. I love that one. That one's so good.
That one for a while, and then I've been using that one, and then also the They Them Mayhem.
Yeah, that's a good one too. I forgot about that.
Mm-hmm.
That's it was discussed on the BPW trip.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was God, such a cool, like, have you been using the same character for burlesque and wrestling, or?
I mean, burlesque was a little different because I wasn't like slamming people around on stage.
The stage name, I guess, is what I should have said.
Oh, yes. Yeah, so I've been using Kay Davver, for burlesque and for wrestling.
Oh, that's cool. Oh, yeah. How long did you, because obviously burlesque was the, start. It's crazy how many, like, we've kind of talked about this in private, but how many of the Springs cats come from that side of things and then fall into the wrestling side of things. It's so cool.
It's wild. So I started doing burlesque back in St. Louis. I went to, so there's a burlesquer. She's in New Orleans now. Her name's Lola Vanilla, and she's like pretty well known in the scene. And she had a school in St. Louis, and I was like, oh, I should do that. Like, why not? That sounds like a ton of fun. Got into it. Only had one show. My first act that I ever did in St. Louis, I was dressed up like a shark. It was a group act. Did that, and then moved to Colorado and like didn't really know anybody. And my spouse found an ad on Facebook that they were running a burlesque training camp over in downtown. He's like, you should get back into it. Like, you miss doing it. You used to do it. Like, just give it a shot. Try it out. And then everything else unfolded after that.
Yeah, it's such a crazy journey. I think a lot of people that get into this wrestling thing or even find their way to this path, obviously they had something inside of them that was going to propel them to this situation. Like there was a lot of people don't even know about pro wrestling, and then they do this other form of entertainment and they find themselves in the pro wrestling thing and they get so hooked. It's really funny, sports athletes, the burlesque thing.
Yeah.
You mentioned burlesque schools. I didn't even know that was a thing. Like,
yeah, I mean, I didn't know that there were wrestling schools.
Okay. So like on the flip, right? So wrestling schools. Yeah, of course you get the wrestling schools are, then burlesque. I'm like, burlesque school? What?
Yeah.
What's that consist of? What are they? What's the training like for burlesque?
It's a lot different, if you can imagine.
Slamming your own body on the floor, not other people's.
Yes, pretty much. So I did the Burley Scouts. So the Burley Scouts are the troop in Colorado Springs, like the biggest troop in Colorado.
I think I've heard of them.
I want to venture and say the U.S., but I'm not super sure on that. So nobody's allowed to quote me.
Yeah.
But it was a 2 or 3 month long camp, and we just learned the basics. So costuming, how to do your hair, how to do your makeup for performance, how to make pasties, how to tassel twirl, like how to do choreography. So we learned all of the basics, and then at the end they're like, hey, we've given you all of these tools, now you have to put together a routine, and then we're going to have this big graduation show. So it was myself, Randy Rude was in that class too.
Is
Graduated
that how
with,
you guys met? Was through that class? You and Randy
yeah,
Rude got connected? Cool. That's awesome.
that's how we
What
met. So,
was
and
his
then it
wife
just went
involved in
from
the
there.
class too?
Huh?
Was his wife involved in the class as well?
Laura was, oh gosh, I think I want to say that she was already established.
Okay. Yeah, I
Yeah,
wasn't sure how that. Yeah, okay, cool.
yeah,
All
I'm
right,
pretty
continue.
sure
Yeah.
she was already established and then would help us, so help the new kids with stuff.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. Yeah, Boss Lady seems like a genuine heart. Like they're always trying to help people out in the back.
No, a
Oh,
hundred percent.
yeah.
Both Laura and Randy are two of the most genuine people I've ever met. Like, like deep down genuine. Like they just want to help. They just want to be the best people they can in, the LGBTQ community, the
Hmm.
burlesque community, the wrestling community. Like having people like that has been really awesome.
Yeah, they're. It took me a while to finally get to CSW because there was an individual that was kind of running things that had people doing my job essentially. So
Yeah.
but once I found my way to CSW, it's been a family that I don't take for granted. I really appreciate that locker room. It's a lot of fun to walk into. All hugs, all happy.
All it's such, and then I'm still I'm still getting into more locker rooms and seeing how all that works, but out of all the locker rooms that I have been at, CSW is one of the best.
Yeah, CSW, CWC, the
Yeah,
Primo's locker room is really good too.
the
Uh,
BPW locker room has been
yeah, that's a
amazing.
really good one too. Yeah, shout out to the BPW locker room. Uh, and Downfall Cathedral, real quick, shout out to them. They're
Yes,
always putting in the
absolutely.
extra fucking mile for that company. Staying late, putting in the hard
Yeah,
work, putting up the ring, breaking down the ring.
yep.
That's someone that I would like to get on here too. So we can get up there
I'm
more
sure if you reach out to them, they would absolutely love it. They're two really awesome guys. Yeah, stay like after they just won their titles, they like stayed late and helped broke
Yep.
down and which is just like they could have just left. They're like, hey, we're
Like everyone
chilling
else did,
now.
like
Yeah,
they could have just that's how it is in a lot of wrestling locker rooms. You see a lot of people gone before the fucking final bells even fucking rang. So shout out to everyone that stuck behind at BPW, helped,
mhm.
picked up. That was really
Yeah,
solid.
that was a
A lot
long
of
night.
respect. Oh yeah. But it was a fun night. It was a fun car ride.
Oh
Getting to know
yeah.
your spouse. Unfortunately I had to sit next to Crow. That was,
Oh, that guy.
yeah, that's fun. How did you and Crow, like your guys' friendship blossom like none other, man? Like you two are glued at the hip at shows. I'm telling you.
No, God, I don't even remember. So my whole wrestling journey, my 1 year anniversary is coming up in December. So, which means that we haven't even been friends for we haven't even been friends for over a year now.
Yeah.
It's only been a couple months. And
Mhm.
I like saw him at a show and I was like, you're going to be my friend. And then he was just, I like saw him and I saw him wrestle and I really liked his heel work.
Yeah.
And I knew that I was like, okay, I need somebody like this to be my mentor. And so I think I reached out to him about wrestling and then it just went from there. He's helped me with my character, he's helped me with my heel work. I latched onto him a bunch for things and now he's my best friend. And now we're part of Arson with Caleb Crush.
Yeah, which debuted 2 days ago, Primo Sprint Pro Wrestling.
Yep.
Loaded, which is on Fight TV if you want to go and watch the replay. And a fun night that was. I hope that we're okay. I know that on commentary I picked on you a little bit, but that's hey,
I
it's all
wouldn't
love.
expect anything less from you.
Good. Okay. Hey, it's what it is. When you walk out with Crow and Crush, you're gonna get that heat. Okay.
That's
All right.
perfect. I
And
love
I'm gonna
it. I'll take
establish
the heat.
you
I'll take it.
as the boo. Okay. That's what we're gonna do. Boo K going forward until they turn on Crow and Crush. Which God, please let that happen.
I can't do that. I can't do that. Come
uh,
on.
Hey, enough money, man. I'm telling you, it'll work. All right.
enough money for me to
Yeah.
turn.
Hey, I'll get the wise guys. Well, they don't really have a lot of money.
That would be
They might
wild.
have mafia connections, but I don't think they have a lot of money.
No, maybe connections, but not a lot of money. Have you seen what they look like?
Yeah, unfortunately.
I don't we can't pick on them too much. They're both hurt.
Hey, you know what?
Back right
Hey,
now.
I had to work alongside Niles at Loaded for commentary. It was fun. I would definitely do it again. Good individuals once you get past that store-bought marinara funk. You know what I'm saying?
Get that fake ish out of my face.
We don't do
No,
frozen meatballs up in this, Molly. You know what I'm saying? Fresh, only fresh, and stuffed with cheese.
and stop it. I just got home from work. I haven't had a chance to eat dinner. Starving.
Well, you're from St. Louis, and so you know a little something about barbecue that we don't know out here in Colorado. Is there any spots that you found while being in this state that like are up to par, or are we all just garbage?
So I will say St. Louis has some of the best Chinese food I've ever had.
Really?
Oh my God, yeah. Like St. Louis Chinese food does not like you can't even compare it to other places. It's so good. It's just I don't know that takeout like Chinese food.
Yeah.
So good. I can't find anything like that here.
Yeah, I got to. Next time going to Indiana, we're gonna stop and get some Chinese food with provided.
Absolutely. Come with us. I'm trying to get on a promotion and there's a handful of promotions that run in Illinois and St. Louis.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try and get out there. So if anybody knows a promoter in St. Louis or Illinois, let me know.
AWR right here. If you reach out to Gary Emmett, it's my boy.
Okay.
Good friends. I'm sure he'd have a position or two that we could fill as far as AWR. It's more of like a deathmatch company, but it's not. It's like we build up to the death match, so it's like normal matches up to the death match.
Yeah, and then the very last, like,
don't feel like you're going in just having to bleed, Not that you're, not in tune to that. You and Panda had an amazing bloody match, a casket.
I was like, I've got my first death match underneath my belt now. So I'm able to do that. That was wild.
Aside from the skin popping, how was it?
Well, it was fine. Honest to God, the worst part about the whole experience was the sound.
Yeah.
The sound of the skin popping. But it didn't hurt. I didn't even really feel it the next day, which was great. It was just that sound. I was like, if I could have just like covered my ears while it happened.
Oh, but then it would have echoed through your head. You know how sounds inside your head.
Oh, I know that. You're right. That would have been worse.
I think there's I don't know the exact number, but the amount of layers, the tiramisu that they're having to go through to get to your skull, oh,
I hate that.
How was the match? How did you feel?
I felt good. And I was telling Crow this. I was so nervous in the car ride to that match. I was so in my head. I was so nervous. I don't know. I was like, what if something goes wrong? Or what if I bleed too much? Like all of this stuff was running through my head. And then after the match and even the next day, I felt so silly. I felt so silly for being so nervous. It was just another day in the office. It was going out there and it was wrestling and it had a different layer to it, but it was fun.
Yeah.
And even, the hardcore stuff, like I was so scared and then it happened and I was like, oh, I will do that in a heartbeat again. Like I will do that and not be nervous because now I have that experience. So I would love to do more bar fights, hardcore stuff because I love that. I love a bar fight.
It was a fun setting. I know that for it being both of y'all's first casket match, it went over really, really well.
Yeah, thank you.
The fan interaction in the match was really good. You guys really had that crowd going.
Yeah.
And there was a few moments where you could feel the crowd being like, oh shit, is Panda about to lose? Or is like Panda's on the losing side of things.
Yeah.
And you could feel that change when Panda would come back. And it was like, it was a good back and forth, and you could really feel the vibe. Even backstage, everyone was super excited about it.
Yeah, no,
But
it was awesome. It was, God, I don't have any words for that whole experience because I do very, I hope she doesn't hear this. I really look up to Panda a lot.
yeah,
She was there when I started training. Um, she still is there training. But she was my first match. She was my very, very first match in my debut at Combat and Cabaret last December. And I'm really happy that I just mentioned, I like saw somewhere that I think maybe Abaddon was doing a casket match. And I was like, I didn't even know that was a thing. I was like, I want to do a casket match.
oh
And so I
no,
pitched it to Randy like
oh.
2 or 3 months before the show. And I was like, Randy, we should do this. And Panda's like, yeah, we should. And then somebody mentioned turning it into a hardcore match. And we're both like, yeah, let's do that too.
It was a lot of fun. I mean, it was from a production standpoint, it was easy to follow. And I already touched on it, but that crowd was so electric. When Panda wins and they slam that casket, and I'm sure you're in there like giggling, like having the greatest
I was
time of
like,
your life. Yeah. They slammed that casket and the fucking crowd's roar it was insane. It was like someone lit nitro on fire, you know what I'm saying? Just this was an explosion. It was wild.
I heard it, which is exactly, we both had our roles to play. And I think both did a very, very good job filling those roles. And though that like those 3 rows of like high school kids, oh my God, they were losing it. They were losing it. They were cheering for Panda and booing me. And I was like, this is great. I love this.
Yeah, it was it's interesting to follow your character specifically. I know you don't like the word tweener, but you can fall into both sides of things, like let's say BPW, right? I know that huge win, first off. Congratulations, all right? Dorian Maddox, Big Filt Dog, one of the top names in pro wrestling, the independent scene, like a sought out motherfucker. And you went up against this man. Huge win. Congratulations, like I said. That's amazing. Just goes to show your growth within this business. And I think the burlesque stuff probably helped a lot with the character and feeling comfortable on a stage setting.
Oh yeah.
Because the rings, if anything, it's a 360 stage, versus the
100%.
forward. Yeah. So
But
that match with Dorian, I mean, what an accelerator for you in your career. What was that like going up against someone who's held pretty much every world heavyweight championship throughout the state of Colorado?
It was very surreal. Because a couple months ago at CWC, I was there and I wasn't wrestling that night. I was helping Chad with something. I think it might have been merch. And Big Guns and Filter had a match. Big Guns and Dorian had a match. And he got up in my face at one point. Dorian did. And he got up in my face and he's all acting tough. And it was right at that moment, I'm like, I'm going to fight you. I was like, I don't know how it's going to happen. I don't know where it's going to happen. But I was like, I am going to fight you. I was like, you've made the list, buddy. And I'm coming for you. And
tell me you know about Chris Jericho's list. Yes. Okay, I was going to say, all right, you're new to this. All right, continue.
But I was like, dude, buddy. I was like, you made the list. And then a couple months later, fast forward, we're like 8 months, or not 8 months, but like maybe 6 months. And Pete reached out to me and he's like, hey, who do you want to wrestle? Like, I'd really love to get you hooked up with people that you've been wanting to wrestle. And I was like, ooh. I was like, what about Filter?
I have an idea.
I was like, the wheels started turning. I was like, oh my God. I was like, how can I make this happen? And he was, gracious enough to accept, because he could have said no.
Yeah.
He absolutely could have said no, like, I'm not sure if they're ready yet, or no, I have another show or whatever. So I mean, a huge thanks to him, and I learned a ton in that match. I learned a ton from him, and even, the 15 minutes we worked, but then all the prep time beforehand. And I really hope I get a chance to wrestle him again, because that was a great learning experience. And I hope to wrestle more guys like him too, like his size and everything. Like, I do not give I don't I don't care how big you are.
Uh,
Like, I know that I can be a good opponent in the ring, no matter what your size is, man, woman, anything in between.
yeah. Well, let's not discredit your size, because you're a fairly beefy motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you could probably. Hey, when Guns and me are doing commentary and they say Kay can outlift me, I'm just saying. Okay, so shout out to Big Guns for
Thank
shouting
you. I
you
am a
out.
beefy boy. I appreciate that.
Yo, I'm telling you, yo, them spam cans are huge, man. Bruh, out here with them double XLs. Um, so like with Dorian, that match, there was a lot that went into it, like you said, a lot of planning. But for me, is something that I really enjoyed. Uh, when he gives his chops, he doesn't hold back. They're not somebody that is. They don't care color, creed,
Yeah,
size, don't matter. You're gonna get that heat.
absolutely.
For me, the thing that shined bright, you gave it right back. You
Mhm.
didn't flinch, and then when it was your chance to shine, boy, did you lay in those chops, man.
Mhm.
What like there's so many people that are a year in and they don't have that ability to go like that. They don't have the ability to like give it back. They're nervous. There's people that are still in this business 5, 6, 7 years now, and they still don't know how to strike properly. What clicked in your head that you were like, I'm just gonna start giving it back? Because a lot of people don't.
I I know, and that's something that I'll kind of talk about with them ahead of the match too, because I always say, like, hey, like, don't, like, lay it in.
Yeah,
I don't ever want somebody to be nervous, like, oh, I don't want to hit them, like, oh, because I am, for the most part, female presenting,
yeah,
especially when I'm wrestling. So I don't want anyone to ever think that they have to take it easy on me for that reason. So my talk is always like, hey, lay in your strikes like you normally would, because that's also a learning opportunity for me. I need you to hit me like you're going to hit your opponent, so that I can get
yep,
used to that. So if I get like really hit in the ring, I'm going to know how to react to that. Um and then I always tell them, "Hey, I'm not going to make it easy on you. If anything, I have to work harder and hit harder when I'm in
yeah,
those types of matches, or else it's not going to be believable." And I'm trying so hard to build my character up as somebody that can take a hit from anybody. If I start looking weak and I start just like my chops, like, that's not believable, and nobody's going to take me
uh,
seriously. So I think that's what started that's what clicked. And also, when I first started, that was my biggest that was the biggest thing that my trainers were telling me, is that I wasn't laying my hits in. They're so I had a problem with that at the very beginning, because one of my first matches, I was in a it was a rumble, I think. And I'm not going to name names because I think that's rude, but somebody told me that I hit them too hard. And I was like, "Oh my god, I'm so sorry." Like this was probably like my third or fourth match. And I was
yeah,
like, "I am so sorry. Like, I did not mean to hit you." And then ever since then, I wasn't laying my strikes in, because I was worried that I was hurting people. And my coaches are like, "No, like, as long as you don't potato somebody or you knock somebody out, like, you need to lay in your hits, because nobody's going to take you seriously." And as soon as they told me that, like, nobody's going to take you seriously, that's when it clicked. Because I was like, I can't be out there, trying to protect my name and to go like tell anybody, that I can fight them and I can win and I can, give it just as hard as they give it. Um, So yeah, now I really lay in. So if I hit anybody too hard, I apologize.
Don't, it's one of those things where like you nailed it on the head. Obviously there's a difference between laying it in and, hitting a motherfucker.
Yeah.
there's,
Yeah.
there's a major
Absolutely.
difference. So keep doing what you're doing, obviously, but it's weird to hear someone say that you hit them too hard. I mean, I guess it's part of the thing, but everyone kind of signs up for this, and we all know the consequences. I mean, personally, I don't. I've never even stepped foot in a ring. It's not like that's it, but
Yeah.
I understand it, and I know what everyone's putting themselves through to get to another position. And if you want to be some of the best, you can't be out there throwing pillows. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't work.
Yeah. Well,
And
and
I guess if you can't throw an overhand, learn to throw a forearm, but don't rely on the forearm because forearms do start getting kind of silly looking. It's
yeah,
kind of the constant.
I rely on that one a lot because I think it's a good sturdy one for me to hit. I
Oh,
actually
facts, yeah.
this part of my arm was bruised after my match with Filter.
Wait, hold on though. Time out, because we've heard that you bruise easily, so that doesn't.
I do.
That's so
Oh
that
no, you
don't.
got me.
Yo, that's not. I heard you bruise if paper mache flies your way.
I do bruise like a banana. You should, like after having a show on Saturday and a show on Sunday, like I look terrible. Like I had to wear
Oh
long sleeves
no.
to work today because I didn't want anybody to think that I was like involved in like domestic abuse.
Yo, I am sure Joey's sitting there going like, "Hey, we just have to have a talk with a few people. We just got to clear up the situation here."
We just gotta make sure that everybody knows that they're okay.
Yeah, when Lucy was doing their little bit of training about a year ago, they'd come home with a couple bumps and bruises. Like, I didn't do that. That's not me. Don't look at me. Hey, she runs this house. That ain't on me. Oh man.
So during my match with Filter, like 30 seconds in, I bit my lip, and I did it to myself. It was my own fault, but I like bit it, and it immediately started to swell, and it bled. And then also I had a fat lip the next day, and I had chop marks, and I like wore a tank top because I was like it was hot or whatever. And Joey's like, I'm gonna need you to change before we leave the house. And I was like,
Yeah.
why? And he's like, because it looks like I've been hitting you. Like this huge giant chop mark and my like busted lip.
Head to
Like,
toe poncho.
terrible, you're right.
Okay. Get the trash bag on, and we're making you wear a lucha mask. All right. It's canon now. You don't get to anytime after a match is Filter, lucha masks and trash bags.
Lucha match and trash bag. That's all you get to wear.
We need to get a match with you versus Kikyo. It'll be the fallen flower versus the bruised banana.
I would love that. I am really.
What are your plans for December?
Huh?
What are your plans for December? I know that Omega 9's coming up. You have any eyes on that tournament? Or are you looking towards other goals?
I would love to be a part of Omega 9. Yeah. I'm of course going to be there to offer any help that they might need. I have not been officially no one's officially talked to me about it.
Okay. Yeah.
Which is totally fine, but I've kind of got my eyes on something else right now. Within Primos, I had on Sunday I had my match with Diago and oh god, it's been a long day.
Yeah, I'm having a brain fart too.
Yeah, let me
see. I'll pull up the card.
No, I feel bad.
It's gonna happen. I'm telling you. There's times that I be doing commentary and I have to look over at guns and stuff. I'm like, who's that?
Who's that? So, Mondo.
Who's that? Oh yeah, it was a 303 championship matchup. Yeah,
so, and I loved working with both of them. I've never worked with Mondo before.
Yeah, heavy hitter.
He's like this mysterious figure who comes to shows and beats people up and then leaves. And I was like, I want to know more about this man. So I had a match with him, and I'm hoping that something comes from that.
Yeah, that'd be a fun path to go down. I know that God, and again, it's like show days for me are a blur. By the end of the day, people come up to me and go, "Hey, how did I do it?" I'm like, "Bro,
You're like, I have no idea.
how did I do?" You know what I'm saying? Like I know about as much about you do as me. You know what I'm saying? Like you,
Yeah.
so but I believe, if and correct me if I'm wrong, there was an encounter after the match. Didn't you guys get into each other's face?
I mean, a little bit. So what what had happened was so I was introduced into arson before that match started. So I've
Mm.
had Killian and Caleb watching my match, seeing how I was doing. That was kind of my tryout almost for arson. And then
I thought you were the leader.
I will be, but not
Soon.
soon. So I kind of got pulled out, and I'm like, you know what? I've got more plans for Mondo. I'm not going to give him the satisfaction of pinning me in this match because it's a triple threat. So I let Diago take the fall, and I called Mondo out, and I said, I'm coming for that title. You've had it long enough. It's time to change hands. Nobody else has stepped up, and nobody else has presented themselves as a challenger. And I was like, I know I can take you, and I know I can be a competitor for that title.
I mean, you have the credibility just going off of the BPW match. Looking back at a lot of the stuff through CWC, the past year Primos, and CSW, taking the CSW Women's Champ to the literal limit, like, fighting, battling on the stage, like it's a foot away from the casket, either competitor can win. Going over on the CWC World Champion, Filter, Dorian Maddox at BPW. There's a lot there that proves your worth towards the 303 championship. So I think that'd be a fun, definite fun build up and match. No matter where it falls, no matter who,
No,
whoever
absolutely.
wins.
No matter where it falls, no matter what the end conclusion of that match would be, I still think that it would be an amazing match. He's a great wrestler,
Amazing,
great guy, and I would be really excited to work with him. So fingers crossed, because I'd really like that to happen.
Well, we put it out there, and as soon as you put that energy into the world,
I've been manifesting so much, Rocco. You have no idea.
I'm telling you. I'm telling you, we got to manifest our own existence. Otherwise, we ain't gonna. And I think people hear that and think, crystals and hoopla. Even though I got a few crystals and hoopla here on my desk, but okay, all right. Hey.
So normally this wall behind me is like full of my knickknacks and like my rocks and stuff, but I'm in the middle of moving right now, so I don't have as much knickknacks and stuff and rocks on the wall as I normally do. So I get that.
Yeah, I'm a rock collector. I love them. Ever since going to the reservation with my dad as a kid, growing up, in that area, I'd always find really cool shit, really cool rocks, down in Arizona, the Four Corners area.
Yeah.
But we'd find some really cool stuff, and I'd always bring them back to my dad. And I didn't know at the time as a little kid, but as I grew up and got older, he kept every single one. And he had them all blessed by medicine men. So it was like,
that's amazing.
Yeah, it was a really cool thing, but ever since then I've been into rocks. I got all different kinds of crystals.
I'm going to put that in my brain and store it away for later.
Yeah, my birthday's January 11th, so.
Oh, great. I'm just going to start giving you rocks that I find.
I'm down. I love it.
Full of rocks, and every time I see you, I'm just going to start like giving you different rocks.
Yeah, this one I've had for a while. I've actually worn it thin.
Do you mess with it?
Yeah, and so it has my thumb groove in it.
That's awesome. You'll have to remind me. I have some rocks that I brought back from Iceland. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, so I could give you one of my Iceland rocks.
Did you by chance happen to get that special water from the water boy, the stuff that always stays cold? I'll take some of that.
No, sorry, no special water, just rocks.
Boy, yeah. I do enjoy them. Iceland, what is that place like? You know, like
God, it
because
was
it's not
wild.
full of ice.
It's not. It wasn't full of ice when we were there. But it's almost hard to describe because the landscape, because of the lava flow and the lava
Yeah.
fields, is like literally nothing I've ever seen before.
It
So it's
just it sounds so weird to even say that with Greenland. Sorry to interrupt, but lava
yeah,
flow, Greenland, yeah. Continue.
no, it's wild. And like we got there and we rented cars and we pretty much drove around as much as we possibly could, and driving like in the middle of nowhere, like these lava fields, but so everything's like black and like bumpy and weird, but then everything is covered in moss, like a like really thick layer of moss. But it's like that for as far as the eye can see. It just looks otherworldly. And then
Yeah.
all of the black sand beach, oh my gosh, or the black like pebble beach, it was just spectacular. I shot a promo there and ended up scrapping it because I didn't like it. But it was still pretty cool. Um, and then Reykjavik was one of the coolest cities I've ever been in. Um,
Sounds really neat.
yeah, it was
What a name.
amazing. Everyone was so super nice. We only ran into one person that didn't speak English, and that's okay because we were just there for
Yeah.
beer, and we pointed at the beer, and he's like, "I got you." I was like,
I
"Cool."
got you. Hell yeah, that's so cool.
But yeah, I was there for a week.
Is that your heritage? Does your family come from that part of the world?
No, I mean
Just
maybe I'm
wanted to
like
go. Yeah.
I'm like Irish and Scottish and
Let's go,
Irish,
Scottish gang
Spanish,
in the house.
and German, a lot of German, just a mutt.
Yeah.
I'm just as white as you can get, really. But
That's fun. What, why did you decide to go to Greenland? Like, what was the, or Iceland? What was the, like, why did you choose that as your vacation spot?
we we have some friends here that we're really close with. So my spouse and I, and we were all like talking about going on a trip together. And my friends were like, "Oh, well, my parents are going to Italy. I think it was Italy." And we're like, "Oh, we should just go with you." And then we started looking at the prices of how much it was to like get there, and we're like, Let's not do that." And I've always wanted to go to Iceland because I'm really interested in Norse mythology and the history of that and how they got to Iceland. I was like, let's go to Reykjavik, let's go to Iceland, and then everyone's like, yeah, you're right, that's a great idea. So we just started planning, looking up places we wanted to go, and then it just happened. You know, the whole like joke about the friend group getting out of the group chat. That's
Yeah.
basically what happened.
I have a similar experience with the group chat. The AWR guys right here. That's where I got my start in pro wrestling. I've talked about this a little bit, but
Yeah.
we all started our pro wrestling journey doing e-feds. I don't know if you know what an e-fed is.
Mm-mm.
So what you do is you take a professional wrestling video game. You don't necessarily need a video game. When I started, it was all just text based, and we'd write out promos, and you'd have writers, and they'd literally write out a card like as if it was a book, and you'd read your match, you know, and whoever
Yeah.
promoted better would get the win. They had a voting committee on who did the better
Interesting.
promos and stuff. So that's like where I got my start.
Yeah.
But all of us were in a group called the Empire Mall.
Mhm.
And eventually one of the guys broke off and started his own company called AWR. And he hit me and my buddy Joseph Collins up. Was like, hey, do you guys want to do commentary? And we're like, sure. We had never met these people in real life. Like, we
Uh-huh.
never, high-fived or hugged or
Yeah.
so it was always just a group chat thing. And eventually the company got to a point where we were able to throw a deathmatch tournament, and they flew us out. And we all linked up for the first time. We even had people that weren't actually like working for the company, but were part of the group chat that flew
Mhm.
out. We all finally got to meet up and link up.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so
That's so
I know
cool.
the feeling of like that finally that connection finally being made.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
The
finally it
nerves are
happens, like,
real.
finally we're doing this thing that we've been talking about for however long now.
Yeah, you get real nervous up until the fact, and it's like it almost just disappears immediately. Because you know these people, like you know them. Like as much as you don't physically, have been around them, you know every part of their soul. So
You know all
it's
these
cool once you get to
people.
meet them.
I'm trying to fix my lighting while we're talking, and it's getting worse, and I
Maybe if I
it's just
shine a
this black
flashlight, does it
void
help if I put it
behind
through
me
my
now.
camera? It's all good. It's all good. It gives the Kay Davver aesthetic, right? It's supposed to be
I
look
just live in a crypt is
exactly.
yeah.
See, kayfabe. All right, we can make this work. So a couple of little things here before we get out of here. You did uh powerlifting, strong man.
Yes,
Um,
I did
that's
strongman.
unique within the pro wrestling scene. I think I don't see a lot of people doing the strongman stuff. I know it's not unheard of. I know
Mhm.
Braun Strowman did a lot of
Yeah.
strongman stuff back in the day. Uh, I know that Crow, one of your good buddies,
Mhm.
is I don't want to say like really good friends, but friends with Brian Shaw,
Mhm.
who's one of the goats when it comes to powerlifting and
Yeah.
strongman. What was that journey like? Did that start before burlesque
Mhm.
or?
So that started because COVID drove me crazy. And so it wasn't at the height of COVID. It was more at the tail end. I was still living in St. Louis, and I was tired of sitting at home all day
Mm,
and I was super depressed. I had gained a lot of weight, and I started to notice it. Like, it was so
yeah.
weird. I like woke up one morning and I was like, oh my God, like, this is the biggest I've ever been. I'm not healthy. I'm sad all the time. And I was like,
Been
I need
there.
to fix this. And that was like the height of like when I was really into TikTok. And I saw somebody was doing strongman, and they were pulling an airplane. It was like an airplane or like a 24 wheeler or something. And I was like, that's really cool. I was like, I want to
Yeah.
do that or something similar. So I started looking into strongman and gyms around town and watching just YouTube video after YouTube video. And I was like, I think I can do this. Like, I've always been pretty strong. I've always been big and beefy, and I was like, I want to like actually use that. So I started training at a gym down the street from my house. I could walk to it. It was awesome. It was perfect. I would train 4 days a week, and it just went from there. I started getting stronger, and I finally put a date on the calendar of when my first competition was going to be.
Hell yeah.
Where is it? Hang on 1 second. I'm gonna grab it.
Yeah.
There it is. So I went to this competition. There he is, a little guy. He's got the
That's amazing.
goofiest little face, and I love him so much. But
It's
there
like
it
Buddha
is.
got beefy.
Yeah, it's like Buddha got beefy. So I put a date, and I was like, my coach and I went, and we went to it was in Columbia, Missouri, so not too far away from St. Louis. And I competed in a couple different events. I deadlifted, I pulled a truck, I did the log press.
Let's fucking
Yeah,
go.
I think
That's
there was
like my
one more.
favorite. Oh, that's so sick. Yo, really?
Yeah.
That's legit my favorite thing. When I watch Brian Shaw or what's what's his name? Oberst. The
Hmm.
boy with the big old beard, and he just like ridiculous. Continue.
Yes.
Sorry, you gave me chills. I love strongman. I watch it all the time on YouTube. So continue,
No,
continue.
it's amazing. It's just crazy, and you're really like I love pushing myself to the limits, and that was one
Yeah,
of the things that like I was like I am gonna push myself. I ended up getting first in my division for the truck pull, which I was super excited about because that's the one that I was most nervous about. And that was just really amazing. And
that's super
I
cool.
did that, and then like a month later moved to the Springs.
That's so crazy. Is there
Mhm.
down in your area? Do you have any strong man
I
gyms or?
I've looked into it, but they're all really expensive. And if I'm
Yeah.
already paying for my wrestling training, I'd rather just kind of keep doing that.
Well, and the cool thing about the butcher shop, shout out to the butcher shop, they have
Yeah.
Atlas stones.
Yeah. They
So
actually, I just noticed too, they have a log. Like a
do
literal, like
they?
yeah.
Yo, we should do a Primos. We should rip off WWE and do a Primos strongman competition. And that would be sick. Get all the wrestlers out there and let's see who can fucking
Let's just see
throw
who
the
can lift
most
the most
iron.
weight without hurting
Yeah,
themselves because we probably have
exactly.
exploded the next day.
Yeah, I don't need anyone popping their tries, okay, or like tearing a pec. But yeah, that would be fun. I think that'd be a cool thing. I think we could probably even pull it off and get it on Fight TV.
Ooh, that
That's
would be
just
cool.
my head, you know.
No,
I
I
think people
love
would be
that.
interested in it, right?
I keep trying to think of something that we could do as like a Primos like fundraiser.
Yeah.
I was like, what kind of fundraiser show can we do like just for Primos for like equipment or like wood for the ring and stuff like that? Like
Headsets for production so we can talk to the cameraman.
yes, it's stuff like that. Like
Mhm.
there's got like we could do like just silly, like silly goofy stuff. Like we could do
Yeah.
like a jello or a pudding like wrestling, which I have been wanting to do. So if anybody
Let's
that
go. Let's go. That'll be fun as hell.
but just stuff like that. I was like, there I feel like there are so many different things we could do and then be like, or I don't know, pay like sponsor your favorite wrestler and like have like the fans put the card together and they have to pay like so much money to actually like see like their two favorites like go head to head or something like that. I don't know.
I don't know if you've ever heard of this pay-per-view, but WWE did one 20 years ago or something. It's called Cyber Sunday. Ever hear of that?
Mm-mm.
So it was essentially kind of what you described, and like the fans got to like vote online. There was like
Yeah.
they'd have a match, you know, it'd be like Kay Davver versus Dorian Maddox, and then there'd be like 5 stipulations that you could vote on.
Yeah. Like something
And
like that. That'd be
but like
interesting.
with a financial side to it is like, you know, your idea. And so we would take that same concept or something similar, and then we'd put like, you know, $5 a vote.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And if we even wanted to like control it a little bit, we can be like, okay, here's the roster, and here are the people that you can choose from. Pay who, and then whoever gets the most money or whoever gets the most votes, then they or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
I love thinking about that kind of stuff because I'm a theater kid. I used to do production. I used to do all that stuff. So I like think about that side of things too, which I think helps me sometimes.
It does. It definitely helped, obviously, with your character growth. It was it's shined bright for sure. You know, my first instance ever seeing you wrestle was at CSW. The
Yeah.
evening that I was running sound for JV, my first night at CSW. And you bring it, and I was like, "Yo, they're sick, like they're cool." And then you know, you came back, did your thing, whatever, walked past, and I'm like talking to the rest of the people, like, "Yo, where are they from? Who booked them?" They're brand new. They've had 1 match. And I'm like, what? No way, motherfucker. There's no fucking way. You're all like hyped over at the stage. The way you stop that shit going up. I'm like, this motherfucker is real. Like, and you go from like, it's such a 180 from the person that, you know, I got to know on the car rides that we've been a part of or just in the locker room. And then the monster you turn into going into that fucking ring. There's something you can do that like, it reminds me of like that zombie scream. Like I can't. You have this ability to like snake jaw and like fucking, you know what I'm saying? Like turn into a fucking South Park Canadian and like you're just yelling outwards, and it's such a fucking cool thing. It's so fucking cool. I'm sorry to fucking put you over so hard. Everyone's gonna fucking, but you know.
Oh, thank you. Well, it's funny because I've been made fun of a lot growing up because I've got a really loud laugh. And when I really get laughing, I will like throw my head back and just laugh. And my mom always joked around. She's like, "You look like a snake unhinging your jaw."
Yo, I nailed it.
So I guess I do that when I yell too. So
You do, and it's so cool. Like, have you ever seen I'll send you a TikTok of the guy. There's this dude, I think he worked at either Knott's Berry or Universal, but they were a zombie, and the way that they would, and like,
Yeah.
it's like, holy fuck, it's scary, and it to see it in pro wrestling because it's never been done before like that. I've never seen it.
Yeah.
I've never seen it you like that facial ever in pro wrestling. So it's super unique to you, and it's something that I think should be
Yeah.
like your promo headshot fucking every time because it's fucking dope as fuck. But yeah, that's awesome. We got a whole bunch of comments here, and I'm an asshole. I just wasn't looking at it throughout
Oh,
the
I
thing.
didn't even see. Is there? Can I see that, or is that just for you?
Oh, you might be able to.
I didn't
Yeah,
see any of those. Oh no!
Hey, we're both. We're equally okay. I'm sorry. Everyone. It's our own fault.
Sorry.
Sam missed the start. To have to ask, is Kay Davver a play on Cadaver?
Like a dead body? Yes, it is.
Yes.
Kay Davver, cadaver, dead body?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yo, this creepy motherfucker, okay? We're talking about doing promos, and they're like, yeah, go ahead and stuff me in the fucking morgue bed thing, and I'll just pull me out and I'll do the sit on it. Yeah, I'm down to do promos in a I'm like, yo, I'm like deathly afraid of these places. I can't even go near you. Put me in one of those things, you're done. Okay? Never again.
Okay, imagine how cool it would be though for like someone to like walk around and then they pull me out of the fridge thing. And then I just pop up out from underneath a sheet. It'd be so cool.
It would be fucking amazing. The visual would be cool, but don't think I'm gonna be there for it. Okay?
That's okay. I'll show you later.
I'm gonna watch it on video. Yeah. I'll watch the pre-tape.
Yes.
What else we got over here? Let's go, Kay. One of the best young talents on the scene today. If any promoters are watching, book Kay Davver as frequently as possible. Outstanding addition to any card. I agree. I think we've, but you know that. We've talked about it. You're an outstanding individual. And you go above and beyond to help out in all facets, not just with the work. I mean, I'm gonna put you on the spot here, okay? There's a lot of people that would have left BPW had you not been the driving force. It was like, we're gonna help out. So shout out to you. You're kick ass.
I don't know. I respect Pete and Jen a lot. I think they put a lot of hard work in, and they've told me before, people leave and it's just them two, like the two promoters breaking the ring down and putting that away. And in my eyes, that's completely unacceptable. So I'm going to stay and I'm going to help. Yeah, and I know I'm stubborn and I'll make those that are in the car with me stay too. But I think that's good karma. So
facts, it is. It pays tenfold to even the ones that weren't so willing to stick around, myself included. Like I wasn't feeling so hot that day, but I still stuck around. I was lifting boards. I was moving beams. Got these guns working. You know what I'm saying? Oh, burly boy. No, it was cool. And then you build a camaraderie with the locker room that way, or especially with like the ownership, or it creates a deeper friendship than just, hey, I'm here, pay me later.
No, absolutely. So
yo, this is from the old wife. Yo, we love Kay, such a badass.
Aww.
A Facebook user, unsure who they are, but they said might have to work him for the CWC title soon. Pretty sure a win over the champ makes you #1 contender. I'm assuming that's Chad Kalina.
Is that Chad?
And if that's Chad Kalina, I'm pretty sure I just got confirmation. You're #1 contender for the CWC World Heavy. I have chills, dog, talking about this. This is fucking, no, seriously, the fucking hair on the back of my neck just stood up. Like, if that's true, yo, that's ridiculous.
That would be wild.
What are your thoughts on being the #1 contender for the fucking CWC World Heavyweight Championship?
I think it makes me want to fight Filter again.
I'm telling you, and you gave it all last time, and you won. So, yo, new champ on the horizon, all right? And we are coming up on the 1 year of CWC. Homecoming's coming up here in January. So, maybe that's going to be in the works. And if you guys would like to see if that match happens at CWC, go ahead and follow the Colorado Wrestling Connection on Facebook,
Yes.
Twitter,
All the things.
TikTok,
Instagram.
mostly Facebook. I would do Facebook. That's where you're going to get
Mostly
the best info
Facebook.
from the CWC. We got a few other comments here. By all means, take it easy on me. I break easy now. Face pink tears. CJ says, don't hurt him. Basically, all right,
I'm not gonna hurt you, CJ. Don't worry.
Don't break CJ. Someone put hashtag K for 303 champ. I'm down.
Hey.
Rob Carlton says this was an interesting interview. Hey, thank you, man.
Thanks, Rob.
I try to bring a little bit of a different vibe to these things. You know, I want you to understand and get to know, if anything, the individual, other than just be like, hey, who'd you beat last week? All right, later, brother.
Yeah.
We also got Rocco. I think this might be one of your best interviews yet. Yo, hey, you know what? It all goes to show what a good guest will do. You know, when I have someone that's giving back as much as I give in, it's hard to have guests that don't have a story to tell. So I appreciate that. And, you know, Kate obviously can talk up a storm. You should be in a car with them. It's awesome.
I'm very chatty.
Awesome. It's a great time. Like it's one of the hardest things to do in the universe is sit in a car ride with someone for, you know, an extended amount of time and it be silent. I don't think there was one time it was silent. We was all just laughing and having a good time both just ways, laughing, front and back.
Being goofy.
Yeah. Good times, man. I appreciate you, Kay. Thanks for the friendship. And the final comment, Kay understands presentation better than most vets on the scene. I agree. They understand what the moves in the ring are only half the show. Wait. They understand that the moves in the ring are only half the show. The way they control the crowd is incredibly impressive. Facts. Like I said, flowers while you're here. You know, there's no reason to fucking keep them from you, you know. But don't let it go to your head. Continue honing your craft.
No, never.
Just get better and better and better.
Yeah. I don't ever, and I tell people that are the closest around me, I was like, listen, I don't ever want to have an ego, because I know that this can be taken away at any moment. Like, so you have to keep training. You have to keep working hard. Be thankful. Remember where you came from. Yeah. Remember who your friends are.
That's a big one.
I genuinely don't ever want to be that person with an ego, because I'm so humbled to be here. I'm so happy to be here. I can't talk about it too much because I'll start crying, because it really, like, genuinely means a lot to me. I've never felt more at home somewhere than while I'm wrestling. So I just, yeah.
Well, we are your family now, and you can't get rid of us. We're the type that we're like a growth on your hip. We ain't going away, all right? You have to get us surgically removed, okay? Like, we're here for life.
Never. I want you all around forever and ever.
Well, I appreciate you, Kay. And I appreciate everything that you've done for the professional wrestling business. I appreciate your approach to the professional wrestling business, your dedication to what we do here. I know a lot of people look down on this craft, you know, because it's not true sport, but in my opinion, it's one of the most athletically hard things to accomplish. You know?
Yeah, it's rigorous. Not only do you have to be strong to handle things, your cardio has to be up to par.
That's the big one.
If you're in the ring, you're getting gassed 2 minutes into a match, you're not going to be able to perform for.
Yeah, it's and I mean, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of people that made a business or made a lot of money in this business without any cardio. You know, look at guys like Ultimate Warrior. You know, they were blown up 1 minute in, but I wouldn't rely on people, you know, just to be body guys. If anything, work hard at this craft. This craft is amazing. You can go really far in it if you really try and put in the effort. Again, Kay, I appreciate you. You're one of the most loved entities within professional wrestling at the moment. Sky's the limit for you. And when I see you on NXT, don't forget about me, and please don't forget about Jackson. He needs a friend.
Never. Oh my God! Just real quick, because I don't actually know if we have a time limit.
No.
On Sunday, he was like a part of the little group of kids, and they were like flipping me off, and Jackson was like the leader of the pack, and I was screaming in their face, and Jackson was just not backing down. I'm like, you're such a cool guy.
Yeah, he's the only one that doesn't flip people off, if you notice. Everyone else will be like middle fingers up, and Jackson's like, I can't do that. My mom's right here.
No, and now I was about to say, now that you say that, like, I think he was putting his fists up.
Yeah.
I don't think he was. Yeah, I don't think he was. Good for
Yeah,
him.
he never does. He's such a little good boy. It's wild to think that they're mine, because I'm such a sailor with my mouth, and like on commentary, I'm always cussing or always saying something, gross. I'm totally. It's weird. It's like how when you get into the ring, it's that 180. Once I get on the mic, I turn into a whole different person. I'm not that like
Yep.
genuinely nice, good boy.
Showbiz.
Yeah, it's 100% showbiz, and I got to turn it up. But boy, did we! And this was a fun interview, and I can't wait to run it back. Like I said, especially here, your future's bright. There's going to be a lot more down the road. And you seem to have your head on your shoulders. You seem to be on the right path. So
Trying.
I think that we'll be traveling the state of Colorado, if not the United States, together.
Absolutely.
Within the group. We'll be seeing a lot more of each other. But for now, I'm going to let you get back to your evening. You go grab some food. And again, thank you so much for being a part of this, for being a part of this interview. Take some time just to spend it with me.
No, absolutely. I very genuinely enjoy doing this. I always love talking to you. So thank you so much for giving me a good evening. Again, I apologize about my lighting situation. I'm so sorry.
We're good. Hey, we have it on record that this is one of the best interviews we've ever done.
Thank you. No, I just, thank you so much. Thank you for having me, and I'll see you soon.
Yeah, I will see you, December, Omega 9, I think is the next time we'll see each other. Oh, no, Winter Warfare for BPW?
No, that's in January.
Oh, is that January? I thought that was coming up. Okay.
Are you going to be at Combat?
In Cabaret? No.
No. Yeah, then the next time I see you will be Primos.
Awesome. I appreciate you, Kay. Love you, homie, and I will let you get up out of here.
Bye.
And thank you, the fans, the Shady Sports Network, my faithful. I appreciate you guys for being a part of this. The Sweet Spot with Rockin' McSweets. This was one of my favorite ones to do. Kay Davver, an amazing individual. Go check them out on social media, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram. I'm sure they have them all. Again, thank you guys for being a part of this. I'm going to leave you with a little bit of brand action. I'm Rockin' McSweets. This has been the Sweet Spot. Have a good one.
SeatGeek is the ticketing app for fans like the high five strangers got. Game-winning interception. First down. Just a nice, solid tackle. If you're in arm's length, you will be swapping skin with this extra berth. You see, he knows SeatGeek got him a great deal on tickets, so he can focus on what he does best, smacking palms. SeatGeek handles the tickets to sports, concerts, and more, so fans can fan.